Hi, today I'm gonna talk some of the interview related questions on the topic of Windows Server environment. So let's start with question number one. What is Active Directory and what role does it play in a Windows Server environment? We all know Active Directory is a directory that provides services or the which is developed by Microsoft for Windows Server environment. It helps in centralized management and used to control user accounts, devices, and other resources within a network. And some of the roles which are included in Windows Server environment are like centralized authentication and authorization, directory management, user groups, computers, printers, etc. And also it includes group policy management, which enforce security settings, software installations, and other configuration. And it also helps in scalability and delegation of managing their IT infrastructure. So it also helps in sign on SSO. That means users can access multiple network resources, example file sharing, applications, printers, etc. It also helps in replication and high availability, which can replicate database across multiple domains controllers to ensure high availability and fault tolerance. Some of the key components are included in Active Directory, such like domain, trees, forest, and organizational units, global catalog, etc. And question number two is, what is forest, tree, domain, and child domain? Forest is a group of domain, which is top level container in Active Directory environment. So the purpose of forest is to manage multiple Active Directory environments, to manage or the maintain level of separation between them. Also, it provides autonomy, security boundaries, and resource sharing capabilities. And tree, what is tree? Tree means a group of domain. Group of domain or the collection of domain that share a common namespace and are linked in hierarchical structure. And the purpose of domain is like maintaining distinct administrative boundaries. Example, primary domain is example.com, or tree might include sales.example.com and support example.com. So what is domain? Domain means a collection. Domain is the fundamental unit in Active Directory. It is a logical group of network objects like users, computers, printer, etc. And the purpose of domains is it maintains authentication and policies, although it also trust relationships enable collaboration between domains. And some of the examples of domains are example.com and google.com, etc. And a child domain. Child domain is the domain that is subordinate to a parent domain within a tree. It also some of the examples of child domains are and example, if example.com is the parent domain, then child domain will be hr.example.com and finance.example.com are the child domains. So question number three, explain what DHCP and how it functions on a Windows Server. What is DHCP port number? We already studied about this DHCP in previous class. So DHCP is a dynamic host configuration protocol. It automates the assignment of IP addresses and network configuration. Example like sovereign marks, default gateway, DNS to device in a network, simplifying administration. And DHCP works like DORA. DORA means D means discover, O means offer, R means request, and A means acknowledge. So in discover, client request and IP. In offer, server offers an available IP address, and in request, client accepts the offer. Then finally in acknowledge, server assigns the IP and it confirms. So the port number of DHCP is UDP port 67, which is used by DHCP servers, and UDP port 68 is which is used by client DHCP client. And what is DNS and why is it critical for Windows Server? What is DNS port number? DNS means domain name system. It translates human readable domain names. Example like we already took like www.example.com, google.com into an IP addresses. Like IP addresses may be like 92.168.1.1 etc. And it is critical because of following some points like name resolution, Active Directory dependencies, efficient routing, and centralized management. And the DNS port numbers are UDP port 53, which is used for most DNS queries, faster connectionless, and TCP port 53 is used for larger data transfers like joint transfers, reliable connection oriented. What are group policies and how are they applied in Windows Server? Group policies in Windows Server is a set of rules and settings that administrates to control and manage user and computer environments within an AD, Active Directory domain. It also helps in enforcement of security settings, software installation, desktop configuration, etc. And it is applied in Windows Server like defined in GPOS. Group policy objects are created and linked to Active Directory containers. Application order, policies are applied in order like locals, site, domain, and OMS organizational units with lower levels overriding, and scope and filtering also. GPOS group policy organization. Group policy organization targets like specific users, computers are the groups using security filtering, and the users of group policies are enforcing password policies, managing user access to system features, configuring software deployments, enhancing security by applying firewall and other settings. What is the purpose of Windows Server roles and features, and how do you install a role? What is RSET tool? Purpose of Windows roles and features is like roles. Roles is the primary functions like web hosting and domain management. Features is like additional tools supporting roles like net framework. Install a role. Use server we can install role by click on the server manager, then add roles and features, then we need to follow to the given instructions. RSAT tool. RSAT means remote server administration tools. It let admins manage server roles remotely from a client machine. And how do you create and manage user account in Active Directory? To create and manage accounts in Active Directory, like first of all creating manage user accounts in Active, and first of all we need to open the Active Directory, then click on users and computers, on the domain controller or a client with RSAT installed remote desktop, and click on navigate to the respective organizational unit. Right click on organizational unit, then click new, then click user, and then after set an initial password and configure account options, click finish. We can manage accounts by modify properties like right click on user, then click on properties to update details like group memberships, profile path, or contact information. And we can also reset password by right click on the user, reset password to assign a new password. And we can disable or enable accounts, same process like right click on user, disable or enable account. We can move users like drag and drop group members. We can add the group members and assign permissions or the access right. Then after Active Directory simplifies centralized user account management in a domain environment. How do you create and configure a shared folder on a Windows server? Shared folder. Create the folder. To create and configure a shared folder on Windows server, first of all we need to follow like log into the Windows server, then navigate to the location where you want to create shared folder, like example CD or any dedicated drive, right? Then after click on right click on the location and select new folder. Then we can give any name of the folders, share folder, and any folder's name. So in the step to share the folder, to share the folder, right click on the folders and the select properties, then go to the share tab and click on advanced sharing. In the advanced sharing dialog, check the box share this folder. Then we can change the share name or want to leave or as the folder name. Then click on the permissions button to configure user accounts, right? And step 3 is permissions. Set permissions. In the permissions dialog, we can define the access for different users or the groups. By default, every one group will have read permissions, and we can keep different permissions like read and write, full access, etc. To change the permissions, click add to the specific users or groups, then select user or group, modify the permissions like what I said before, give full control or the read only or read and write or edit, anything. Then in step 4, configure security settings. Go to the security tab, then in the tab, then click folder properties, then edit, click on edit. Then we can give or allows or the deny. So in the step 5, map the network drive. It is the optional, like on the client computers, open File Explorer, right click on PC, and then select map network drive, then choose a drive letter, and in the folder field like enter the server's IP address or the host name and share folder name. Then check reconnect and sign in if you want the connection of persist or across reboots, then click finish. Last step is the test access. On the client computer, open File Explorer, and we can share the folder path, and then make sure the correct permissions are applied by the testing the access. So question number 9 is explain the difference between the work group and a domain in a Windows Server environment. Work group means it is a simple peer-to-peer network which computer is independently managed, and authentication and the security are handled by locally machine suitable for small networks, example home or small office. And domain means centralized network which is managed like through Active Directory, where user accounts, security and resources are controlled by centrally, and authentication and policies are enforced across all the computers. How can you explain the different types of groups Windows Server, and what are the functions? How would you use them in managing permissions and access? Types of groups in Windows Server are like local groups, global groups, universal groups, etc. So in local groups, it is used to assign permissions to resources on a local machine. Example, shared folders limited to a specific computer. Like global groups is content users from the same domain and can be added to local groups for resources access. And another one is the universal groups. It contains multiple domains within a forest which can be used across entire domain structure. And some of the functions of the groups are security groups, distribution groups. In security groups, it is assign permission to resources. In distribution groups, it is used for email distribution, not for assigning permissions. So that's it. Thank you.